everyone. So I'm going to be talking about how to move on, okay? This has been a long awaited video, okay, for the ones who did watch my previous talk about karmic relationship. I did that one last year, I believe. But I feel like this time is the perfect time to talk about how to move on, okay? Now, I'm definitely going to leave my karmic relationship video down below, okay? Because most people were in karmic relationship rather than twin flame. Twin flames are kind of rare. Karmic relationships are more common, and you can have multiple karmic relationships depending on how long do you need to master your karma, okay? And for me, karma is your lesson, okay? Okay, so let's begin, okay? Real as F, how to move on from somebody, okay? So I'm going to have different topics. I'm going to piece it all together. But the first one I'm going to talk about is relativeness, okay? And depending on which factor. Now, there's certain connections you can get over somebody within a day, okay? Or a week, or it could take forever, okay? And that just depend on you overall. It could be influenced by your natal chart as well, but it could just be because of your personal life. Now, what I notice, the connection that take a little longer to move on, okay, is usually because you give your all to somebody, right? And with relationships and with love, it's very important to not necessarily give so much of yourself where you're not giving back to yourself, okay? So, usually, when you give your all, think of the movie Acrimony. When Taraji was giving basically her everything, and you see how she ended up, basically. So, the lesson to be learned is never give so much of yourself. All the time, put yourself first. Now, this may sound narcissistic, this may sound selfish, but that's not the case. It's showing that you love yourself the most, okay? And everybody should strive to love themselves the most, but you should strive to love each other at the same time. So, what does putting yourself first look like? Okay, let's talk about careers and goals. Because sometimes, ladies, we can get distracted when we're in love, and vice versa, men get distracted when they're in love as well, too. But making sure that you put yourself in a number one position, okay? That means you having boundaries, okay? Boundaries of what you expect from your person, and the standards. Now, when it comes to, again, back to goals and aspiration, making sure that you focus onto your goals, okay, more than into your love situation, because sometimes love can be a distraction, okay? Love can be. So, when you have a healthy focus within your own self and also with your connection, you're more easier to move on because you basically have your own life without this relationship. Now, usually with codependent relationship, those are the one that you don't have your own life. And so when you guys break up or when this person just, not treating you right, it really affect you. And again, that takes longer to get over somebody because you are really more heartbroken, okay? Okay. Accountability is very, very important. Okay. I know a lot of people is going to dislike this of what I'm saying. Okay. But please hear me out. Okay. And I will break it down. How I think and how I believe. Now, you might think and believe different. No one can break your heart unless you allow them to. Okay. And what I mean is basically how someone treat you who broken your heart, somebody probably would never allow that person to do the same, okay? Another person. So it's about taking accountability, okay? And how do you take accountability is looking at it from a higher perspective, not looking from your ego's hurt, okay? And it's very important to establish boundaries, okay? It's very important to establish boundaries and standards, okay? It's super, super important. And once you feel like somebody crossed your boundaries, that is the number one red flag for you to not be in that connection even longer, okay? Because the longer that you stay in that connection, the more hurt you experience. All those tips I gave you before, those are more preventative. Okay, so I'm gonna start with ones that you can actually do right now if you have, you have this urge of moving on from somebody. The first one is forgiveness. Forgiveness, yes. Very cliche, I know, but forgiveness is very important. You don't forgive for other people, you forgive for yourself, because when you do not forgive, you are in stagnancy, okay? You are doing yourself a disservice. So, how to forgive? The number one technique that I recommend is doing a forgiveness letter, okay? What you do is basically you write to this person like you're actually talking to this person, and you explain what had happened, how that person changed you for either the better or the worse, and what you say, I release you from my mind, my body, my spirit, and I let you go. Okay. And what you can do is like basically you can just throw away whatever. But it really is good because it's kind of like a catharsis. And if you feel like you was kind of holding back your throat chakra, you was holding back of what you really want to say to this person, it give you that source of outlet of letting go. Okay. Now, actively forgiving is basically not holding on to past grudge, past resentment, not holding on to it. Okay. You can simmer into that emotion, but do not stay in that energy, because what it does, it causes stagnancy. So it causes people to not move forward in their life. Okay. And that also causes people to become bitter. Okay. So you want things to move. Okay. And that's what emotions are. Emotions are just energy moving. So you want things to move. So I definitely recommend to do a forgiveness letter and to let go of resentment. Okay. Let go of resentment. Let it go, because it's only holding you back. It's not making you progress. Spiritual understanding. Okay. This is the main thing of letting go of somebody and moving on with your life. Okay. Just like the saying, we weren't meant to be. Okay. The universe know what's best for you. Okay. The universe know what's best for you. They want what's best for you too. So sometimes rejection is, that's sometimes, but all the time, rejection is your protection, is God protecting you. Okay. So understanding the lessons of what you experienced in this connection, in this past connection, and seeing how that can grow and elevate you will definitely make you move on. Okay. Another saying that I love to say is whatever felt like it's a breakdown is actually your breakthrough. And that's why, the universe used love for humans to grow. Okay. And this could be in any type of loving relationship. This could be in a romantic loving relationship. This could be in family, friends. Without these type of relationship, we wouldn't be who we are today. We wouldn't grow. Okay. And with growth, it comes with pain. Okay. So understanding the spiritual side of why that connection had to happen and how it made you become who you are. Okay. You can look from the negative side and the positive side, but I would say more focus on the positive side. Being grateful. Okay. Being grateful for that experience. Okay. I know it may be a shitty one, but be grateful, because that shitty one taught you so many things. Now, with the universal laws, there's one law that called the law of polarity. Okay. So let's just say you experienced a shitty ass relationship, okay? Excuse my French. But you was dealing with a guy who didn't do shit for you, all right? Being grateful of like, you know what? I see all the characteristics of this person. So the next time I'm dating, the next time I'm going to be in a connection, I'm going to avoid all these people that have that same characteristics, okay? Because you learn from it. And again, like I was saying, the law of polarity, whatever you experience on that side, you can experience the other side. Okay. So if it was a negative experience, it was a shitty one, you're going to experience even a great one. So let's just say you was dealing with a guy who never did shit for you. I'm telling you, once you level up your mind, I'm telling you, and I would recommend you listening to Shira 7, because she's like the goat of it. When you level up your mind, you're going to be dealing with man or woman, who really going to go out and beyond for you. You're going to be shocked and surprised. You're going to be like, damn, like, how were you, you would be shocked, like, of what you accepted before. Okay. So it's being grateful of what you experience so you can elevate and grow. Now, if it was a shitty one, now you know the characteristics of what to not look for when you're dating or when you're in a relationship. If it was a positive one, you can still use that as a guideline of what you want your next person to have as a characteristics. Be active, okay? Have you noticed, look at all your friends, right? Look at the one that's the most popular, the one that all the time go out, okay? The one that's always a busy bee, but all the time go out socially. Usually you don't see that friend cry that much compared to the friend who's like a homebody, who don't really go out that much, okay? Not cry, but be stuck on somebody like that. You have to be active, okay? If you want to move on, you have to be active. You can move on energetically, yes, but if you want to physically move on, you have to move on. You have to be active. So it's about going out more, okay? Going out more with friends and family, going out more, period, okay? Put yourself out there and make sure, you are feeling good about yourself too every day when you go out, okay? Another thing is being open to the possibility of meeting somebody new, who's somebody who's going to meet your standards, someone who's going to treat you well too. Okay. So that's another important tip of moving on. Okay. You can't only move on just sitting in your home. Okay. You have to be active. You have to put yourself out there. You have to go out. Okay. Take time to heal. Okay. Do not bring baggage that was not your baggage. What I mean is basically, you never had problems like this before until you deal with a certain type of person. Don't bring those baggage who are not your baggage, and don't bring your own baggage into a newer connection, because you're gonna mess it up. You're gonna mess it up. Okay, so don't do that. Make sure that you definitely clear out any type of residue that was keeping you in a stuck situation, that was keeping you not feeling happy about yourself, that was making you feel small, that was making you feel limited. It's not making you feel like the queen, the king that you are. Okay, so definitely heal any type of issue that you probably had since childhood, that you develop, or that you develop during a bad relationship. Okay, definitely heal from that. Okay, and that's how you move on as well. Love yourself. Okay, I know you heard this so many times, but it's important. Now, a lot of people like to say this is dismissive. I can see where it can be, because they're not really breaking down what is loving yourself is. So loving yourself is not only saying it and not only believing it, it's also what you do every day, what you basically do. Okay, so loving your life, loving who you are on a spiritual level, on a soul level, and on a physical level. Okay, that's how you move on. When you love yourself so much, nothing can break you down, really. Nothing. Because you have a strong foundation with yourself. But when you are not too sure of yourself, when you don't know who you are, and they got negative people, they can definitely tear you down. Okay? But even if you did got feeling like you got put down, that's the perfect time where you experience that breakthrough, like I was mentioning before. Okay? So definitely know how to love yourself, okay? And learn how to love yourself, okay? So this is by action, okay? So it's what you think of yourself. It's what you do, okay? And how you treat yourself, okay? So again, maintaining standards, eliminating people who were disrespecting you or not appreciating you, doing stuff that you love, okay? Being a career that you love as well. And there's many other tips. But definitely learn how to love yourself. Also, I want to say another thing is basically, in our society and the whole world, basically, we are taught basically how to hate ourselves before how to love ourselves. So don't feel like you are far behind. Don't feel like, you know, something's wrong with you if you're struggling with your self-love journey, basically. Okay, that is normal, because again, this is something that is taught first, is to hate yourself first, then to love yourself, to figure out what's wrong with you. Okay, so it is a journey, but it's a very rewarding journey. Okay, when you continue to live your truth, when you continue to be your authentic self. Now, my next step will be knowing that you deserve better. Knowing that you deserve better. Okay? And actually, knowing that you deserve the best. So, you having this mentality that you deserve the best, you are going to be more open to better connections. And you're going to be more open to moving on. And that means you're going to be moving on more quickly. Okay? So, not putting anybody or any connection on a pedestal, knowing that you validate your own self and you are complete and whole by yourself. But it'd be great if you are connected to somebody who is going to add value onto you again. But it's basically you knowing that you deserve the best, you feeling like you deserve the best, and you're going to track that. Okay. And again, it's going to make you move on quicker, because you're not going to be holding on to garbage if it was garbage, or you're not going to be holding on to mediocre if it was mediocre. It's because you know that you deserve the best. Okay. So that's all the tips I have for you guys. You guys can add more tips. Okay. You guys can criticize me if you want to. Okay. But yeah, those are the tips that I learned through moving on and what helped me move on. Okay. And I really am grateful with the whole experience of what I experienced in my love life when I was young and stupid, and when I'm now in my mid 20s, where I learned a lot. But yeah, thank you guys for watching my video, subscribing,